Today we're going to look at percentages, and more specifically we're going to look at finding a percentage of an amount. If in your big books you can write the heading Gwaith dosbarth, finding a percentage of an amount and today's date. If you need to pause the video to do that, then you can do so now. So, percentages. Percent, what does it mean? Percent means per 100 or out of 100. When we are looking at percentages, there are some key percentages and equivalences that we need to know that will help us with a number of different topics. So, the first one, if you think percents are out of 100, then 50% is the same as dividing by 2. So as a fraction, it's the same as a half, or as a decimal, 0.5. 25%, well that's the same as dividing by 4, so as a fraction it is 1/4, and as a decimal 0.25. 75% then is the same as 3/4, and as a decimal 0.75. 10%, well 10% is the same as dividing by 10, so as a fraction it is written as 1/10, or as a decimal 0.1. 1%, well to find 1% that's the same as dividing by 100. So as a fraction it's 1/100th, or as a decimal 0.01. The last two numeracy facts that we need to be aware of are these two here. So the first one, 33 1/3%. Well that is the same as a third as a fraction, meaning to find 33 1/3% we simply divide by 3. Or as a decimal, it's 0.3 with a dot above the 3, meaning the 3 is recurring. Recurring means that the 3 will go on forever, 0.33333 and so on. So we use this notation, the little dot above the 3, to show that. And finally, 66 2/3% is the same as 2/3. So to find this, we can divide our answer by 3 to find 1/3, and then double it to find 2/3. And this number as a decimal is 0.6 recurring. Again, the same notation with the dot above the 6. So if you can copy that into your big books now, please. Again, if you need to pause the video, that is fine. So moving on to the methods. I did just talk through these, but it's useful to have them down in your book as a point where you can go back and check. So if you want to do it in a bubble like I've done here, you can, or you can simply write them as a list. So to find the following percentages of an amount, use the methods listed below. So as we mentioned, 50% we divide by 2. 25% we divide the amount by 4, or you can half it and half it again. That's the same as dividing by 4. To find 10%, we divide the amount by 10. To find 1%, we divide the amount by 100. To find 33 1/3%, we divide the amount by 3. And then finally, to find 66 2/3%, we first of all divide by 3, and then we double our answer. So again, if you can pop this in your big books now, please. Moving on to some examples then. So work out the following. A, 10% of 1,200. Well, we know 100% is equal to 1,200. So 10%, to find 10% we need to divide by 10, and we need to divide our amount by 10. Remember, when we divide by 10, each number moves one place to the right, meaning our 1 is going to move to where our 2 is, and so on. So we end up with 120. Next one then, 1% of 3,000. Well, we know 100% equals 3,000. So to find 1%, we need to divide by 100. Must divide our amount by 100 as well. And again, when we divide by 100, each digit moves 2 places to the right. So the 3 is going to go from our thousands to our hundreds to our tens. So we end up with 30. Next example then, 50% of 864. So we know 100% equals 864. This time we're finding 50%. Well, to find 50%, we simply divide by 2. So we need to do the same to our amount, divide it by 2. 864 divided by 2 leaves us with 432. There's no issues here if you wanted to do a bus stop to double check that. D then, 25% of 1,480. Well, 100% equals 1,480. So, 25%, we know that is the same as dividing by 4. So we need to do the same now to our amount and divide it by 4. This time I'm going to pop it in a bus stop, so 1,480 divided by 4. How many 4s go into 1? 0, carry the 1. How many 4s go into 14? 3 go in. 3 lots of 4 is 12, so we have a remainder of 2. How many 4s go into 28? 7 exactly, with no remainders. Don't forget this step. How many 4s go into 0? 0. Therefore, 25% is equal to 370. Moving on to our next example. 75% of 688. Well, we know 100% is equal to 688. The easiest way to find 75% is to break it up into the 2 easy percentages we've just worked out, being 50% and 25%. Once we've got both of them, we can add them together to make our 75%. So 50%, first of all, we need to divide by 2 and divide by 2. So we get 344. Then, to get our 25%, well, now that we know we've got 50%, we can simply half it to find 25%. Again, this time I'm going to do it in a bus stop because there's no issue with us doing that. How many 2s fit into 3? 1, remainder 1. How many 2s are in 14? 7. How many 2s are in 4? 2. So our answer is 172. Therefore, to find 75%, which our question was, we need to add the 2 values together. So 75% equals, if I add these together, 4 add 2 is 6, 4 add 7 is 11, 1 down, carry 1, 3 add 1 is 4, and the 1 is 5. So 75% equals 516. There are other methods that we can use to work out 75%, but I would say that is the easiest way to do it. So, moving on to our next example, 33⅓%. This time, we know 100% is equal to 693. So to find 33⅓%, we said we need to divide by 3 as it's equivalent to 1/3. Dividing our amount by 3, we get 231. As these are nice digits but divide by 3 exactly. But again, there's no issue with using the bus stop here to do that. Last example then, 66 2/3% of 1,542. So, first step, we know 100% is equal to 1,542. 33 1/3% is what we need to find first. We find 1/3. So we divide our amount by 3. So this time I'm going to use a bus stop. 1,542 divided by 3. 3 goes into 1 0 times, carry the 1. 3 goes into 15 5 times with no remainder. 3 goes into 4 once, remainder 1. 3 goes into 12 4 times. So our answer equals 514. Our question asks for 66 2/3%. So now we've got 1/3. We can simply times our answer by 2 to get 2/3. So if we double this, we get 1,028. Other methods that you could do to double it, if you wanted to do a little tower sum, adding the 2 together. 1 and 1 is 2, 5 and 5 is 10. Or if you wanted to do 514 times by 2, 4 times 2 is 8, 1 times 2 is 2, 5 times 2 is 10. We can get our answer that way as well. So if you can copy all of these examples into your big book exactly as they appear on the board, please.